Hair professionals, look away now. This is not the video for you. I'm about to color my hair at home using a $10 drugstore hair dye. I have been coloring my hair red since 2007, and I had it done professionally for the first 3 months and then threw caution to the wind and have been doing it myself ever since. I do it about once a month, so 12 years times 12 months. You do the math. I've done this many, many times, and here's what you'll need if you want to follow along. So as I mentioned, boxed hair dye. This is my brand of choice, Loreal Superior Preference. I use the shade number 48 called Florence. It used to be called Copper Blonde, but it's now 48 or Florence. You'll also need some clips or a hair tie to section your hair. Depending on how much hair you have, you might need a brush to just get through the hair and then a comb to section it. I'll vary what I use. Now, because I've been dyeing my hair for so long, I can basically do it blindfolded. So sometimes I do it with my glasses on or off, but I'll wear a darker pair of glasses so that they don't get stained. But for the purpose of this video, I'm going to throw in some contacts. Also, you'll need a old t-shirt or a robe or something you don't care about in case it gets stained. I highly recommend a ratty old Alanis Morissette t-shirt, personally. Okay, so I just want to let you take a look at my hair as it is, so you can kind of see the before. I usually dye my hair every 3 to 4 weeks, but this is more like 6 weeks or more. I wasn't working a lot this month, so I just let her go. And so my hair is naturally brown, and since 2017 has started to gray. So that's me. Okay, first thing, I'm going to start sectioning the hair. I like to take the top half completely up and then divide the top and bottom itself into 2 more sections. So I'll show you what I mean. So just above my ears, I'll come all the way around and separate the top part. I'll just tie that back roughly, so I start working obviously on the bottom and then further divide that into 2 sections, like so. And you can do this with a comb or a brush, but I just do it with my hands. And then we're ready to go. I'm going to open up the box. Now, every brand is going to be different, but this one comes with instructions and rubber gloves, the color optimizing creme, the actual color gel, and then a tube of conditioner, which I throw directly into my shower. I hang on to the box so I can put all the trash in there as I go. So definitely read through the instructions. I don't need these anymore, so I just take out the gloves and get that back in the box ready to be recycled. And then I mix my color. So I dump the number 2 into the number 1. That also goes right back in the box. screw on the lid and give it a shake. You break off the top and then you're good to go. I'm actually going to take the elastic out and use it on the bottom. Whoops. And then, as I mentioned, divide the top into two further sections. And then I twist these up, little Spice Girl buns. So then my hair is really out of my way for the bottom section, and I can go one by one and zigga zigga. I just washed my face and put on my skincare, but if you're dyeing your hair with a darker color, you might want to put some moisturizer or even Vaseline along your hairline to protect it from staining. This color isn't too bad for staining. I even get it on the walls sometime and it just washes right off with water. Okay, so for the first section, we're going to focus all the color right at the roots, and it's going to be left on for 15 minutes. And then we'll work on the lengths of the hair. Here we go. I'm going to turn around so you can see exactly what I'm doing. So I always start by going all the way across the parting from side to side. I squeeze the color at the roots and then I kind of go over it with my hands to massage it in, but just at the roots for now. Then I do the same thing on the bottom, side to side, catch it before it drips everywhere. Then I part down the center, just using my fingers for now. And I make small sections vertically to divide the hair. And then I repeat the process. So I squeeze the color on, massage it in, and then move on to my next section. And then I'll repeat the process going the other way to my right. To finish this bottom section, I've turned around just so you can see, I'm going to bring the dye around towards the front of my hair, here and here, so I can get this kind of sideburn area. And around the ears. Cool. So I'm just going to do a little bit more along the parting, and I'm done with that bottom section. gonna tie it up so it's out of the way, just in a little bun. And then I can work on my top section. Okay, so I'm gonna start working on my top section. The process will be exactly the same, but will be a bit more deliberate because it's the part of the hair that's gonna be the most visible. So I'll start right down the middle. And being careful to feel the back to make sure that the parting that connects the top part to the bottom part is well saturated. And then we'll repeat making sections. Can feel a little clumsy, this part. I'm just looking in a mirror over here. Having this part completely pinned away makes it easier to feel around and see where you're pulling the hair from. Now my hair is about a medium length right now. Sometimes I wear it longer, but one box of dye always seems to do me just fine, because I'm always just doing my roots. If you've got long hair and you're doing your color for the first time all over, you would likely need 2 boxes of dye, because the worst thing is running out of dye partway through. We don't want that. So yeah, I'm just going to repeat the process all the way around. So my hair is naturally like a light brown color, but I always wanted red hair for obvious reasons. Getting pretty into the X-Files as a youth dictated that quite a bit, but I was always afraid to lighten my hair because I was worried about damage. But my hairstylist, who I still see at Parlor Salon, check it out, for my 21st birthday, paid for me to go red in the salon. So the very first time I did the full head, I had it done professionally, and they did in fact have to bleach it a little bit to lighten the base. And I continued to go to the salon for about 3 months after that to do my roots. And then I just got the wild idea of, I wonder if I can do this myself at home. Yeah. I mean, I could afford to have it done at the time in the salon, but I was kind of like, well, maybe I could try it. So I threw caution to the wind, and it's worked out pretty well. Now at the time that I first went red, it was a much like deeper, more red auburn color. And I would use the same brand of dye, the L'Oreal, but it would be called light auburn, the shade. But then I was really getting into the color that I got after I let my hair fade, like it would lighten up a bit. So then I started using this coppery blonde shade that's now called Florence. And I've been consistently doing that for at least 5 or 6 years. I don't recommend doing this necessarily. Like, I think I really lucked out that my hair took to this pretty well. This process, rather, of doing it myself. But talk to your stylist And I mean, if I were doing a more challenging color, like if I was going blonde, I don't know if I would do it at home, but I've never been blonde, so who can say? Okay, so this side section is done. You can see that the color is starting to develop already, and it's looking even much darker in the bottle. I'm just going to repeat the process on this side and I'll come back. The last part I thought I'd show you is around my hairline, because obviously that's the most important part. It's the part everyone's going to really see, and so I want to be pretty diligent about the front. Sectioning it the way I did, it's mostly saturated, but as you can see here, it's still pretty brown and gray. So I'm quite generous along the hairline. Whoop! Try to catch it before it goes in my eyes. There we go. Whoop. And again, the last bit just around my sideburns. So I'd say I've got about even less than half of the bottle left, which doesn't seem like a lot, but it will be enough to do the rest of my hair. You'll see. It does sometimes help though to leave it upside down so that by the time we need the rest of the dye, it's all come down to the bottom of the bottle, or the top of the bottle. You feel me? Okay, I'm gonna take a break and let it develop for 15 minutes. This is a good time to clean up a bit. So I'm just going to take a little toilet paper and clean around my hairline. And I got some on my arm and definitely some on my counter. But like I said, this dye just seems to come off if you wash it right away. In high school I used to dye my hair black, and oh my god, what a mess it would make. Even if I was like supremely careful, it would just go everywhere and stain everything, and my family hated me for it. Okay, we are developed. I'm going to throw my gloves back on and show you how I do the rest of my hair. We'll start underneath. I'm going to take out my ponytail and I'm going to just start brushing through. So really, the comb's going to do most of the work to pull the dye from the roots through the lengths of the hair. And then you'll see we'll mostly just have to put some fresh dye on the ends. So I'll put it in my hand. And then pull it through the lengths of the hair. Now I'm going to tie this back up again. Same thing. We'll go section by section. This is where it's kind of nice to have a kind of crummy old hairbrush to really rake it through. You can tell how saturated it is by the deepening of the color. Obviously the ends are going to be the lightest because they're the most damaged, but they start to all kind of blend in. I'll show you that I actually used the box to prop up the bottle of dye, as I mentioned, so I'm not wasting any of it. And last section. I only started to notice my gray hair recently. And I just think gray hair is the strangest thing. Because I always thought your hair turned gray. But really, it's like brand new hairs spreading up on your head that are gray. Or at least that's what mine look like. So if I were to have completely gray hair, that would mean they'd all be completely brand new hairs and my existing hair will have disappeared. The human body is really strange. Perfect. Okay. And that's it. So I've used almost the entire bottle. I don't always do this, but sometimes I do color my eyebrows to match my hair. So for the sake of this video, I will do that, but I don't do it until the last 5 minutes of development. So now that I've run the dye all the way through the hair, it needs 10 more minutes. So I'll come back in 5 minutes and show you how I do my eyebrows. Okay, so I've got about 5 minutes left on my clock. I'm actually gonna just take, whoops, the top off of the hair dye. Because it'll be filled with more than enough hair color for my eyebrows. And I take a Q-tip and I just pick some up and then go through and cover my brows. I don't always do this, and I do it for a shorter amount of time because I already don't have very dark eyebrows, and this color will lighten them even more. So putting it for just 5 minutes gives it that warmth and kind of marries them more with the red color in my hair, but doesn't totally make them disappear. You want them to look like globby caterpillars. That's the look. Just like that, you look like the Vivian out of drag. We're done. Okay, so obviously I'm gonna hop in the shower and rinse everything off, but I will take my eyebrows off first of all with some Kleenex. So you can see there, it's not a huge change, which is what I want, which is which is what I want. And it'll keep the dye from running into my eyes in the shower. Just getting it off now. Okay. I will actually bring my brush in the shower with me to like still really pull the dye through the hair and make sure it's really rinsed well, and to give it a rinse. I'll show you what it looks like when I've completely rinsed it out and conditioned. Okay, here's the big reveal. That's how it looks. I should mention that I rinsed everything out using lukewarm water to protect the color as much as possible. And then I followed up with the conditioner that came with it. And I have to admit, I always have like a bunch of these in my shower because I don't wash my hair that often. But these are great. I keep one in my gym bag and in my travel toiletry bag. So it's pretty even, I think. I'm hoping you'll all be able to tell me. Now, sometimes I do find straight out of the box that the color can be a little too bright, especially around the roots. And if I'm dyeing my hair like the same day as a special event or something where I want to be looking my best, sometimes in addition to just rinsing out the color, I will shampoo it. Because the directions don't call for you to shampoo immediately after, but sometimes it just like takes it down a notch. But there she is. I'll come back, maybe if I can, when it's dry to show you the complete results. Okay, many hours have elapsed. The sun has gone down. I've had a few meals, put on a little makeup, and I've let my hair just completely air dry so you can see exactly how my color turned out. Apologies for the ring light in the glasses, but I can't bear to put my contacts back on. Let me just take my hair down and I'll give you, a close-up, kind of. I think I did a pretty good job. It's quite even. I'll show you the back. There you go. Now I am quite pleased that every single stylist I've ever seen has been totally duped by this hair color. Meaning my regular stylist obviously knows that I color my hair, but when she's away and I have to see someone new, they always think it's natural. Little do they know, I'm a faux ginge. So yeah, obviously, if you look really carefully, the roots will always be a little bit darker than the ends, but that's to be expected. But otherwise, yeah, I think it gives me a really good, even colored look. Let me know what you think. Okay, that's it.